What's going on? In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a little bit of my truth, and I'm sorry ahead of time if it triggers you, if it offends you, if it makes you upset, if you get really mad, or if you get sad, or you start crying, or whatever the case might be for you, because what we're talking about today is a touchy subject for a lot of parents and a lot of people in general, because it's a place in which we shirk a lot of responsibility and has to do with the food that we eat. So stay tuned, it's coming up right now. Dude, are you all done being all crazy? Huh?
No.
You're almost done? What's up and welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for arriving. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Ethan. I am a single dad to this guy that's running around somewhere over here in Lincoln Love. He's about 2.5 years old and have been for almost 2 years, 2.5 years coming up, because he's almost turning 3, which is wicked and beautiful and amazing. And in today's video, we're talking about something that's a little bit touchy, a little bit triggery, a little bit all that kind of stuff. And we're talking about the food that we're putting into our children's body and how I believe that we are making some big mistakes. And I want to disclaim something. I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to tell you that you're a bad parent. I'm not here to tell you that what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing is bad, and all that kind of stuff. I'm here to bring awareness to what's going on and the food that you're feeding your children, the food that you're feeding yourself, and help show you that some of the stuff that what I see in today's society is often junk, garbage. It's shit food that is not doing our children any good by feeding it to them, and it's actually doing more harm than good. And we use many different excuses to say why it's okay, to say that it's good. Meanwhile, we shirk responsibility and brush it off and keep doing what we're doing, not looking at the consequences of what could come from that. Where do we begin? First of all, I see a lot of parents feeding their kids a lot of junk food, a lot of fast food, a lot of shiznit that's garbage. For example, McDonald's, A&W, Wendys, Dairy Queen, Burger King, In-N-Out, fries, deep fried stuff, ice cream, junk food, candy, sugary stuff, potato chips. I see parents feed their children, this is one I see all the time, processed meats and hot dogs and that kind of stuff. And that literally on the World Health Organization is linked to causing cancer. I believe that it's a class 3 carcinogen. Literally science-backed, research-backed, linked to causing cancer. But yet we still feed it to our children. It's like, what? What? Literally, when you feed your children a hot dog, here you go, here's cancer on a plate, eat it, let's go. And yet, we still do it, and there's parents that think it's good. They market it that it's good. They market it that it's healthy. They market it that it's a good alternative, even though it's not necessarily the case. I see a lot of parents feeding their children snacks that are filled with sugar and gummies that are just filled with sugar that have no nutritional value and that have no actual benefit to them, aside from just an instant hit of dopamine and sugar rush. I see a lot of parents feeding their children processed stuff that comes out of box, Fruit Loops, breakfast cereals, all that kind of stuff that is just ready to rock, full of sugar and not the greatest for your children. And I want to share that I think that why we're beginning to see such a mental health decrease and a rise in all these different cases in ADHDs and disorders and depression and all that stuff has to do with the food that we're feeding our kids, because we're not setting up our kids up for success, because all the foods that I just listed, they don't contain anything that is good for our bodies. They don't contain anything that actually have nutritional content like vitamins and minerals and stuff that helps our bodies do what they're designed to do. It's mostly just sugar and junk. And again, that's why we see obesity. That's why we see all that stuff, I believe, in cancer on the rise with kids, with ourselves, because of the junk that we're feeding ourselves. There's a couple things that I want you to do. Take a look through your cupboard and look at the ingredients on the box. A lot of people don't even read what's on the box. Like take a look and read some of the stuff that's in your Kraft dinner, that's in your hot dogs, that's in this stuff, and ask yourself, can I pronounce this stuff? Is it good for me? What are the effects of it? And get curious about the food that you eat, because the more curious you are, the more you'll understand, the more you want to look into, where does this come from? How is this made? Why is this made this way? Is this really good for me? Is it not? And exploring that idea. And also at the same time, one of the biggest questions you can begin to ask yourself around this stuff is like, how do I feel when I eat this? How do you feel when you eat a hot dog? How do you feel when you eat junk food? How do you feel when you eat fast food? How do you feel afterwards when you crush a bag of chips or you eat some cereal? How do you feel as the parent? Well, your answer, I can guess because I've heard this for myself and I've experienced it myself, is not very good. You feel sluggish, you feel tired, you feel like you want to go take a nap, you feel like you want to go sleep, you feel low energy, you feel less motivated, less inspired. All of those things add up and make you feel that way. And it's because the food you're eating, and that isn't normal. It's not that it's not normal to feel that way after you eat food. How you should feel is you should feel excited, you should feel light, you should feel energized, you should feel ready to go. The way and the reason why you feel tired is because you're eating that food and it's causing inflammation in your body, and your body's reacting to it much like a poison. Like, think about when you get poison, you get sick. Well, you're getting sick. Tired is sickness. Low energy is sickness. All of that stuff is sickness, and it's coming from the food that you eat. So now take that and put that on your kids, and imagine feeding your kids that stuff. And that's what's happening to them. Their bodies are machines. Their bodies are incredibly efficient at that age, but it doesn't mean that we should feed them garbage. It means that we should feed them whole foods, feed them fresh foods, feed them fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, things that are wholesome and whole foods. And a whole food is anything in like the produce section, anything that comes fresh, anything that is just there, like a pepper, an apple, an orange, a pineapple, an asparagus, a cucumber, a carrot, a zucchini, anything along those lines, feeding them more fresh foods instead of more processed and less processed foods. Because what we're taking, what we eat, we become. The food we put in our body is literally what we are made out of. And when we eat junk, we become junk. When we give our kids junk, they become junk. And they perform like junk. They have more tantrums. They feel tired all the time. They need more sleep. They need more all of this stuff. They need more doctor visits. There's things going wrong. Like, we see so many things happening at a younger and younger age. And I believe that a big part of it is because of the food that we're feeding them. And so this is a great opportunity for you as a parent to become aware of, okay, what am I feeding my kid? And is it really, really good? And what are some changes that I can begin to make? What are some things that I can eliminate from my diet? What are some things that I can add and make small, tiny changes? And I want to share just one more thing. That you as the parent are the role model. What you eat, your kid eats. The greatest and the fastest way to begin making a change in your kid's diet is making a change in your own diet. Beginning yourself to eat more wholesome foods, maybe including a smoothie every day, or maybe including once a day. Having a healthy meal just where that you can eat, and showing your kids that it's good, because a lot of these kids grow up to say potato chip, to say french fry, over a carrot, or over a zucchini, or over a cucumber, or over a vegetable, or over something fresh. They'll go to all of those things because they taste better or can be. And they don't know that. It's just like, whoa, they learned that from you. And that's a thing to take responsibility over, that they learned it from you. And sometimes that's hard to swallow, but that's the truth. And beginning to change and open our eyes and open our awareness to all of this stuff that we're feeding our kid, and beginning to make those small changes to more wholesome, more whole foods. I leave it with you to just look at your food, look at what you feed yourself, look at what you feed your children, look at what goes into their bodies and your bodies, and ask yourself, is this really good for me? And how can you begin just to make a small little tiny change? Because that's where it starts. When I started eating less junk food and less sugar and less all that stuff, it was small changes that I would add into my life that would help me on that path. I began by introducing a smoothie. That's all that I focused on, was drinking a smoothie every day. And that's something I still do, and it has a ton of spinach, a ton of fresh berries, a ton of almond milk and coconut milk, and vitamins and minerals like salt and potassium and all that kind of stuff. It's like I make sure that I have that in my body and replenish my body that way, and I eat as organic as I can. But those are all changes that came over a long period of time just by beginning to make a small little change. So just ask yourself, what's something small that you can do, and begin to implement that in your life? And share that in the comments down below. And that is my little rant. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you got a ton of value from this, and I hope it opened your eyes. If it did, feel free to comment what came up for you just down below. Also remember to subscribe and like today's video. Thank you so much, and I cannot wait to see you on the next video. I hope you are well. Blessings, and love sent your way. Peace.